I remember being invited here. I don't know nowadays, mulini sahau. I remember being invited here. I've been invited here by the Christian Union. I've been invited here by the Muslim Union. I've been invited here for your India parties and also the traditional weeks. So it is not something that is new to myself. And I remember coming here. Comrade is right. I remember coming here when there was actually a fire that happened at one of the centers. It's likely that I have been given the opportunity to come country. The young generation that is not the young generation of yesterday. It is not the young generation of the day before yesterday. It is not the young generation when I was young. And maybe whatever it is that you do today will echo into what will transpire to be a better tomorrow for those who are younger than yourselves. So first of all, congratulate all of you on all those matters. Now, I'm not going to come here and tell you to follow your dreams, because you're already following your dreams. I'm not going to come here and give you a very, very moving lecture on following your passions and never letting go or anything of that matter. I'm not going to come here and give you a motivational speech. Neither am I going to tell you how you should be able to do so that you can be able to succeed. But what I am going to do is listen, as I have just listened, give you my views as well, so that the end result becomes something that is collective in nature. Not necessarily my ideas, but my idea fusioned with your ideas, my thoughts fusioned with your thoughts. As a leader, it is vital and it is important. The biggest hurdle any leader faces, and this will apply to all of you. Tomorrow, some of you are going to be, I heard Mwanamku talking that we also need to have cabinet secretaries who are from Mombasa, and I applaud you for that. Pengine unipatie CV nikiwa rais, nitaangalia mambo ya but I want to state it very clearly. A lot of you here are under pressure. A lot of you here are under pressure. One, from society back home to be able to finish whatever it is that your parents, your guardians have made you to be here, to be able to do. A lot of you are under financial pressure as well. A lot of you are under pressure, asking themselves what's going to happen after you have finished your studies, realizing very well that we have one of the highest levels of unemployment in this country. I want to give a disclaimer from now. There's never been any person who has a monopoly of good ideas. And if someone claims that they have a monopoly of good ideas, that is someone who is a liar. We can only be able to grow Mombasa by collectively coming up through sessions like these. I've been someone who likes conversing with the public, and I ended up being reminded that not necessarily that everyone is listening to FM stations, not necessarily that everyone is going to be available on other social media platforms, but probably we need to start doing more and more of these town halls. And I'm honored that this is going to be one of the many that we will be doing together. I want to take the opportunity to congratulate, before I start answering the questions that have been asked. I want to take the opportunity, one, to congratulate yourselves as students. When you look at the face in this hall, when you look at the faces in this auditorium, one thing comes out clear, that Mombasa is truly the picture and the face of Kenya. There's no one here who has been biased because of religion. There's no one who's been biased because of tribe. There's no one who's been biased because of creed. There's no one who's been biased because of religion. Each and every one of you are here collectively realizing that together we can be able to make Mombasa better, and together we can be able to make Mombasa where it deserves to be by working together. And I want to congratulate all of you for this. I'll be short of being shameful if I also don't congratulate the leadership of the campus, the management of the campus rather. I was once the chair of the public investment. That Professor Leila, you did a good job in making sure that pesa ya Wakenya isitumike vibaya. Si mbaya nikisema hapa pia sio. Now, I want to go straight to the issues that you have raised. Some of them have been questions, some of them have been, I want to call them claims, and some of them would be issues that allow me to state whatever it is will be foretold in three ways. Way one is what we have already done. Way two is what we are in the process of doing. And way three is what we anticipate to do. I hope that makes it clear. When it comes to education, and I know that right now I'm talking to students who are in campus, but probably someone somewhere is going to be listening to me who has a child in ECD, who has a child in secondary school. Allow me just to give you a snippet of what we have been able to do in terms of education in general. When we came in, the first thing that we did, we opted to make all our ECDs to have free food. Now, some of you are here looking very, very healthy. Some of you have realized what it means not being able to go to school because your parent has to decide whether they're going to be able to give you a meal or to be able to pay for your fees. So the first thing that we did is we made arrangements and made free feeding program in all our 97 ECDs. The result of that is that over a period of 1 year, from 8,000 being the number of students in our schools, they rose up to 10,000 students. What that means is there were students who were not being taken to school because the parent needs to ask themselves, am I going to be able to buy bread or am I going to be sending this child to school? And that has worked, and it has worked extremely well. Second thing that we did, and when it came to secondary schools, we've done something that has never been seen before. And I did this not for any other reason, so that such accusations that so-and-so was able to be given and another person was not able to be given can be diffused and finished once and for all. We're the first county in the whole of Kenya to actually now state that as long as you're a child of Mombasa, why don't we simply take the forms, take them to your schools, tell the child, take that form back home, get your parent to fill it in with the necessary documents, and again, and I will not shy away from this because I know some politicians have used this as well. I will not shy away from the fact that my mandate is to be able to make the people of Mombasa have a better life. I want to correct this again so that people can be able to understand me. If my mandate had been to make the whole of Kenya, then I'd be having budgets for the whole of Kenya. Right now, my mandate is to make the lives of the people of Mombasa, and we need to be able to confirm that your parent is a person from Mombasa. So we gave these forms to every single school within Mombasa. And we told every parent, please fill them in. In fact, we gave them an even equal amount of time for those who did not bring in certain papers, up to a period of about a month, where we told them, please make arrangements to bring these documents so we can pay for your child. No child, and I'm repeating again, no child was told or humiliated by being told, piga foleni, wapi mzazi, wapi nini. In fact, they never even came for their checks. Payments were done straight to the schools. We did not even do this big event where I'm looking at about, 30,000 people in a ground and telling them that I'm giving them this amount of money. We tried to do that before, and I realized that the best way out is to be able to save the people of Mombasa the little that is there. And all of this is for no other reason. We don't want that bias, that being told that manifestation that has always been there, that huyu ndo anapatiwa, huyu hapatiwi, huyu ndo anapatiwa, huyu ndo hapatiwi. 31,000 plus people were able to benefit from this program, regardless of their religion, regardless of anything else. So I want to just clear the air on this matter. What we did do, and the only reason we did this, is because right now we're in the process of establishing our sub-county presence. That means every ward to have an office, or every ward level to have a village level. In fact, we're going to go down all the way to village administration here. We use their offices because they have offices in all the wards. And again, to avoid people. And those are the only forms where people were actually told, please come and pick the ones for boarding. Because the ones for day school within Mombasa, we were able to do it straight to the schools. Then we didn't even stop there. Again, this is another thing that has been unique to Mombasa. No other county in this country has been able to do what we did. And for those of you who have siblings who are in secondary schools, they will be able to attest and confirm to this. We came up with a program which I call the motivational program. The concept and the idea of that program was very simple. We said, the number of young people who get diverted from education and go into other social vices, it actually happens during school holidays. So we came up with a program where not necessarily for them to be told that they're going to class or anything, because we want a child to be a child. But we came up with a program where all the secondary schools, we said, okay, let us see if they are able to come over the school holidays. For every day that they come over, they're either going to go to a library, they're given motivational talks, they're given talks about life. We're going to expand this now where they're going to go and volunteer in our facilities, our health facilities. We have a house for the elderly, house for the orphans, so they can be able to be part and parcel. Then every single day that child was able to be in that program, there was an amount of money that was paid twice. One for your education kitty, the other one for you as a child for your movement. Now get me right, we paid one for every day that child came to that program. We paid a certain amount of money, and we worked on it at about 250 shillings. So that is, it is 200 times 20. If it is 10 days, it is 250 times 10. We transferred money to the school, 150, so that the parent does not have the burden that over the holidays a child is being given extra fare and everything else. Again, this is something, we did this for various reasons. One, making sure that our children don't get spoiled during school holidays. Two, we did this as well so that we can ensure that we know where the children are. I would rather know that the children are at a certain place than children being taken into crazy areas. There's so many people out there who do crazy things. So this is one of the unique programs that we were able to do. Now something else that we were able to do, and again, without bias to anything, we looked at every single primary schools within Mombasa, and we asked every school, we asked the school to nominate 4 students who finished their standard 8 and were now going into secondary. And out of those 4 students, what we did, we preferred that 2 girls and 2 boys. We gave the criteria that 1, that this is a child who is really striving, 2, they come from a needy place, and please allow us to be able to assist. If I had wanted, and I would have said that, look, let us look at the first 500 students in Mombasa, I would have probably looked at specific schools. I would have looked at Khadija, I would have looked at Sparky, I would have looked at Ganjoni Primary. But then I realized every single child wakes up and goes to a primary school with different challenges and different areas. So what we did is we said, let us now pick from all the schools 4 of the top. And they are under the governor's scholarship program, where for the next 4 years, they are being paid for their fees 100%, without any bias. I never asked that they have to be this religion or this color or this tribe. And by the way, none of the parents came and started pulling a line in the education offices that tunataka form. Those forms were sent to the schools, payments were done directly. I only met the faces of the parents once, and then thereafter, it is the team from the education which is going to do a follow-up so we can see that we are coming up with a worthy investment. We didn't even stop there. This might not be as exciting for you, but it will definitely be exciting for those who are going to be joining. I think that the classes are starting from September, if I'm not mistaken. Now, this is where the exciting part. We have made arrangements. Right now, we're collecting the data from COOPS. That every child who finished their Form 4 and was entitled to join campus is entitled, courtesy of the county government of Mombasa, a stipend of 50,000 shillings toward the education bursary. Now, again, I want to make it clear, this applies to all. So it is going to be difficult for me, because if a majority of those people, all of them who finished their standard Form 4 last year, happen to be a certain religion, it would not be my calling. If a number of them ended up being from a certain tribe, it would not be my calling, because we're doing this without bias or anything, to do this to every single person. Whatever it is that I've told you are not myths, they're not imaginations, they're not a fiction of my imagination. I'm talking to you about things that I've already done. I'm talking to you about things that sina deni. The only one that we are simply compiling the list is the ones from COOPS for September intake. Other than that, I have no debt at all. As a matter of fact, we have even a bigger problem right now because of the amount of way we are pushing. Unlike what people are thinking, the amount of way we are pushing for the parents to come and collect their secondary school checks. We now have checks that are at a threat of actually expiring. So we are now the ones who are chasing parents. Please come and collect fees for your child. So I hope I've cleared the air on that. Now, what I intend to do, whatever I've told you is what is in process, what I have already done, and what I intend to do now. I will be coming up with a proposal. If you look at the whole of Kenya, after Nairobi, Mombasa would have the highest amount of student population. You will agree with me. And when I talk about student population, I mean every single campus has a satellite unit here. Every single campus is here. We have the technical university that originates from here itself, the other universities, all of them, public and private. The concept is very simple. Again, I don't want to be told that tulikuja coalition to. We are going to come up with a framework that we will say we are allocating this amount of millions for TUM, we are allocating this amount of millions for KU, we are allocating this amount of millions for University of Nairobi, maybe based on students who are in that particular campus. That means it is only fair if I have a certain amount of money, then we place it in percentages. But what I'm going to be proposing is that we offer delegated authority and delegated power to both the college management and the student management for you to give us the names, so that hakuna shida ya kuwa nilikuwa simjui gavana, namjua gavana, namjua MCA, simjui MCA. I don't want to hear any of that. As a matter of fact, I would be more and more pleased that I see you on the streets 10 years from today, when either one of you is an engineer or an architect, and you actually tell me, you know, I'm buying you a drink because of the fact, nikisema drink, I mean soft drink. Nimeangalia jamaa vile ameniangalia. That I actually did whatever needed to be done. And this again does not mean political affiliation, does not mean anything else. I don't even want to know what your political affiliation is, but I will, and that I will not relent. I will need to confirm that you're from Mombasa. And one of the only ways that we can be able to confirm that someone is from Mombasa in an urban county like Mombasa is a voter's card. You might not necessarily have voted for me. I know that a number of you probably voted. Sijui, but nyinyi Gen Z, last election mulikuwa bado wengine. The next thing, like this, why can't we be like that, which I wish that we can be able. But then we have what is called the public procurement laws in this country. I can't just wake up in the morning and decide, nataka kujifanyia mambo vile nataka kujifanyia. So we advertised, we came up with an international tender on this matter on solid waste. I was really hoping whether we can do waste to energy, can we do segregation, what needs to be able to be done. And eventually, we did not receive a very, very good response. By law, whatever we received was deemed to be non-responsive. So we have now written to the CS Treasury. And just as I was waiting to get a response letter, the law says that for us to be able to now deal with certain entities directly, after having bid, I need to be able to get authority from the CS of Treasury, or rather the county government needs to be able to get authority. And just as we were waiting, then all of a sudden, in fact, nimeshika simu and I talked to him that particular morning. And I was on my way to Nairobi, and I told him if I can come and collect the letter. Then when I landed, nikafungua simu namna hii nikaona is no longer at work. So we are hoping the new person can be able to do something for us in a faster way. But one of the things that we will be doing, again, this is not futuristic because we've already planned for it in our budget as we speak right now, is coming up with ways where we're going to look at the young people, vet them, do and make sure that these are people who do not have criminal records, these are people who can be able to do what needs to be done well, and thereafter equip them and let them know how they can be collecting, and we can be using the young people from neighborhoods to collect after having equipped them and after having made sure that we give them the necessary skills, expertise, so that they can be able to make a shilling, not only make a shilling, but make Mombasa cleaner. And as we are waiting thereafter, how we're going to be able to sort the issue of the waste that is at Mwakirunge, whether we're going to do waste to energy, or whether we're going to do recycling, or whatever else that needs to be done, we can be able to get it done after we've gotten the letter from Treasury. I think Vivian asked, I think the issues that I answered, I think Vivian, I answered the issues of education. Joseph asked about attachment and internships. I don't want you to take my word for it, but what I will do is I will ask the Public Service Board. And this is why I'm saying sometimes myths can only be calculatively dealt with facts. Last year, we had 568 young people who are on attachment at the county government of Mombasa. Coincidentally, 168 of them were from TUM. Don't take my word for it. I will ask the Public Service Board, the CEO is here, to furnish those names to Professor Leila, so that even tukiwa tunataka to let us try and avoid ile kusema ya kuwa hatufanyiwi. Maybe what we can do is to now consider upping the number. I think that would be a fairer statement, because with a student population of about maybe what is the student population in TUM? 19,000. The university has really grown, because when I was a member of parliament, there was a time we were only at 10,000. At 19,000, maybe 168 might be a number that needs to be increased. So what we will do is I will be doing a request to the Public Service Board to increase the number of those who can go on attachment. Then now comes the issue of internships. As a matter of fact, Last year, we did internship program for about 500. Now, these internship programs, of course, are not necessarily immediately those who came from TUM, because some of them had been out for a year, some of them had been out for 2 years, some of them have been in other universities. So what maybe we should do, we look at all the faculties that are available in all our campuses. Then in the same way, we do an allocation. So what we do is we allocate and we say that for TUM, I know that TUM does architecture, I know that the Department of Transport needs architects as well, who can be able to be taken as internship programs. We start with 6 months with an increase of another 6 months, as we are trying to see a capacity of whether we can be able to absorb or probably hope that you get a job elsewhere, at least. And by the way, our internship programs are paid programs. So sio kwa mnakuja bure bure, it is actually paid in our internship programs. The 500 that we were able to take were all paid for. In fact, out of those 500, the ones that we are remaining with, by the day before yesterday, I think we only have about 9 who are remaining, and they were finishing this month. Because of budgets, that's the only reason. But what we will do is we will look at all the different faculties that are available, and we see what needs to be done. Kim Tai asked me about matters to do with sports, and he asked me about matters to do with quite a number of issues. Allow me just to be able to state. Today morning, I went for the groundbreaking of redoing Bomu Stadium. We are redoing that stadium with, we're removing the artificial turf, we're putting natural grass with a proper irrigation system, floodlights, making it FIFA acceptable, putting in public toilets so that people can be able to use the facilities. And this is not just going to stop there. This is also going to include Uwanja wa Mbuzi and Mahima for those who are from Likoni. Now, the elephant in the room that I always get asked is, what are you going to do? What are your plans for the stadium? For us to complete the stadium needs $1 billion plus. Allow me again to be able to clear the myth that has always been surrounding that stadium. When the stadium was then, the concept of putting the stadium then was done, revenue allocation that was coming to the county government of Mombasa was way higher. Not on-source revenue, but revenue from national government. Then they did a revenue review which shot our revenue by almost 2 billion downwards. Then COVID came as well. So we now have a stadium that we have to finish. We don't have the money to finish it. And this is now where, as a leader, you need to start thinking not out of the box. You need to start thinking as if there's no box. And I looked at this the same way I would look at how I would run a private entity. And what we have done is we are talking to a financial institution and told them, please come and finish the stadium for us. Then thereafter, we come up with a revenue stream, including income from that on stadium, nilipe deni. I hope we are clear on that. And I think we're on the verge of finalizing. We've already discussed with the financial institution. They're finalizing the last bits and pieces. Once we've been able to do that, I hope and I pray, I hope and then I pray that despite the fact that we might not have money, but we have brains, and we will be able to host the AFCON Games in Mombasa come 2027. The other issue that Kim Tai raised was the issue of the cultural festivals. By all means, I think we've done it before. We've sponsored quite a number, and I think the CC is here. If he can be able to work with yourselves, we can be able to support you in a number of the issues that you've raised. Regarding filmmaking, Mombasa was the first county. We actually removed any fees from filming in Mombasa and taking pictures. I asked myself when I came in, and I said, whoever takes a picture of Mombasa is selling Mombasa. Now, whether someone is selling it through Instagram, through any other of the platforms, but you're selling Mombasa. Why would I want to charge someone for taking a picture? And even when you look at the revenue streams that are there, it doesn't make economic sense. So we scrapped this off. I am aware through our discussion, the department in charge of youth culture, youth and sports as well, we are discussing with them right now on the issues of putting up a studio. We might not say that we're going to put it in Tomb, because it has to be a studio that is going to be accessible by all, so that it does not necessarily have to be. I remember, I don't know whether it is still running. Do we have Kenya National Coast Polytechnic here, students? I remember when I was a member of parliament, I believe, by the way, strongly, this is not just stories ajaba. I strongly believe in youth talent being grown. And I remember when I was a member of parliament, I built an FM station for Kenya National Coast Polytechnic. It was called Mvita FM. And one thing that I did, which is what I will do now as well, I appended my signature. I actually appended my signature. On that signature, I said at no given time will that FM station be used either by me or any other person for political gain. So that no one should say that ni mimi ndo nilieka hii kwa hivyo wewe weka story yangu wewe ni pambe tu peke yake. Hapana. Hold everyone accountable. Let everyone, kila moja. And by the way, I strongly believe ile msemo wa Kiswahili kizuri chajiuza, sio? When you just explain yourself to people what you have done, what you intend to do, sell your vision. And like I said, a leader, your biggest challenge, one, is to sell your vision to the team that is working with you, so that they can all be able to be in alignment, wote wanaenda direction moja. Sio huyu mmoja asubuhi akiamka anatoa press release hii, mwingine akienda saa 8 anaenda hivi. That becomes what is called a rubble. A rubble is a confused atom. Yani haieleweki, vitu zinaenda tu. Then thereafter, once you have a team, sell your vision to the people that are meant to digest the outcome of that vision. And that is one of the major reasons why I try as much as possible to have public audiences through various other forums. And I think one of the other questions I was asked was about insecurity. It is true, I sit in the county security committee. In fact, by law, I'm meant to chair it. But that's a story for another day. By law, it is governors who are meant to chair the county security committee. We had to come up with innovative ways in sorting our problems. A lot of people see these things happening in other countries, and I asked myself, why can I not do it here? So I advertised, and I said I want to convert Mombasa into a smart city. And I will finance it myself. And right now, we've already awarded the contract. I think they're going to be in the next 45 days, because after awarding of contract, they have to import the equipment. And what the equipment basically is we're putting smart CCTV systems in the whole of Mombasa, with facial recognition, with number plate recognition. Wewe fanya ujuaji uibe leo, but that facial recognition will pick you up unless you decide to hide forever. But the day you pop up and the camera picks you up again, it will send an alarm ya kwa yule mtu mulikuwa mnamtafuta ako hapa. Then it will even go backwards. Wacheni niwapatie, so that ikiwa kuna mtu ambaye kwamba ananisikia kwa mitandao na ana hii tabia, aelewe vile nimewapangia na mimi pia. Hii itakuwa nakwenda backwards. Tutakuwa tunajua sasa wewe ndio mwizi wa hapa. What is your pattern? wewe ndio ulikuwa unaingia sehemu hii, unatoka barabara hii, unapita hapa, so we will know where you are moving and everything else. Hizi magari ambazo kwamba zinatumika, sijui mapikipiki kufanya uhalifu, we will catch your number plate and we will be able to know where you are, who that vehicle belongs to as well. And of course, naturally, kwa wale ambao kwamba wanaamua kuvunja traffic offenses, they do crazy things, number plate recognition will be there. So it is something we've already done, we've already awarded, we've already done the first payment as well. They've already imported these goods, they've done the survey as we're speaking right now. Once the goods are here, I think in the next 45 days or so, we'll be doing the groundbreaking, and then thereafter, we'll be seeing where we need to be able to increase. So we are starting this within our borders, within the areas that are high crime areas and so forth. In this particular financial year budget, we have actually put in 93 million for street lights. If you realize, Mombasa, as much as we need more, the current outlets are about 40,000 outlets. We had actually advertised, by the way. Again, this is one of those responses. It is better to try and not receive a response, but instead of not trying at all. So we did try and advertise for coming up with street lighting solutions, smart street lighting in Mombasa. But the amount of money that was being quoted, we said we can only be able to do this in very small phases, in very small ways. One of the things that I intend to do is we worked with GIZ. They did an audit of our energy consumption at Cost General. They did an audit of our energy consumption in my office, Kongowea Market, and a number of other facilities. And we're now considering putting up solar in our own facilities. As a county, we also intend to go green as well. Even Easy Piki Piki that we will be using to give to the young people, we want to try and figure out a way of going green. It is our responsibility. In our offices, I know that some of the CECs are yet to fully comply, but I know that in my own office and in a number of the offices, even our drinking water, you either put a dispenser or come up with glass bottles. We're trying to phase away all these things, because if we don't do it ourselves as government, then how do we expect others to be able to emulate and do the same? Then I think I was asked about, there was a question I was asked about sports, and I've not answered that, I believe. Now, I had made a proposal that all money that comes from liquor, that means the bars and all these guys who are selling liquor, we made a proposal that all that money should go into, there are two ways you can be able to engage the fight against drugs and other vices. One of them is demand reduction, the other is supply reduction. Demand reduction is making sure that those young people don't get involved from the first place. Supply reduction is to try, and now you need to have guns and you need to have everything else. Those people who are bringing these things on board, you try and stop them. But in the part of supply reduction, one of the proposals that we have done, and I have committed this to the football affiliations that are based in Mombasa, the FKF and the KFF and the rest, all of them. And what I have proposed is the county government of Mombasa will now come on board, and we will fully finance the affiliation fees. We will fully finance a bit of transport for the teams as well, and we will also fully finance the players' allowances. So that means for you to go to actually, it's cheaper for me to pay a young man to actually be on the field through the club than for me to lose that young man, because the damage that they do, it becomes worse. So sometimes we need to be penny wise. What does the saying go? Penny wise, pound foolish, isn't it? Sometimes we need to think far by seeing what are the issues that are there. And when this comes, it will also involve all the teams, including TUM as well, where you will be part and parcel. The only challenge that I have right now, And sometimes I speak and I'm at threat of whatever I say might be subjudice, but the bar owners have decided to take me to court. Hawataki kulipa. Lakini tutadili na hiyo maneno, hakuna shida. Na kama wananisikia, wajue tu mahakama iko na tutamaliza, tutajua vile itafanyika. They will pay. You cannot have people just drinking left, right and center in our premises. Kama nilidili na mambo ya moguka, hata hii mambo ya pombe nitadili nayo. Hakuna shida. Tutapambana nayo tu. And I think lastly, I was asked about the health facility that is here. I have some exciting news, by the way. We advertised for something quite interesting. My idea and thinking of why I did this, we have been paying, last year, I rolled out a massive health insurance plan for the people of Mombasa. I went around all 30 wards. Whoever needed health insurance, we paid it for them. Then NHIF being, they were not paying our facilities, and I have paid them. Sina deni na wao, lakini wao waliamua otherwise. The other challenge that is there is now NHIF is being dissolved, so we can have all these other funds that are there. Proposing to come up with a health fund. Unless the law is in place, we have to create a law within the county of Mombasa, and I'm confident the MCAs will support me on that. We will come up with a health fund, so that if you're someone from Mombasa and you go to Coast General, you're entitled to a certain percentage off. Again, I repeat, you have to be from Mombasa. Siwezi pata watu kutoka Baringo na kutoka kwengine, kila moja kuna gavana wake, si ndio? Kila moja ajipange, watu waweze kusaidia watu wao. Mombasa alone sees about 1.9 million patients on a yearly basis. 1.9 million patients in our 47 health facilities. Of 1.9 million patients, if you look at the population of Mombasa, unless we are very, very sick, all of us are terribly sick, what that means is that we are also taking care of all the other counties. Now, I cannot come up with a health fund and say, lipia Kenya mzima. That will be unfair. And it will not be unfair to me, it will be unfair to you. Because this money, I have to, and I vouched and I took an oath to protect you guys. So, najua hiyo pia itaingia siasa, sijui mtu fulani, kwa sababu nini, but I will put my foot down. I would rather have quality for the people of Mombasa instead of having quantity that is quality less. Tumeelewana, sio? So once we have been able to do that, what now we have done, we've advertised and we're about to award. We're going to digitize all our health facilities. That means if you go to a facility in Mtongwe, or you go to Portrees, or you go to any of our facilities, first thing that will happen, biometrics yako ikichukuliwa, the nurse that is going to start taking your triage, you know, pressure and all these other things, they have to log in. By logging in, we will be able to know what was the waiting period for that person. Because sitaki kusikia ya kuwa mtu alikaa and I'm paying doctors' salaries on time, I'm paying nurses' salaries on time, I'm paying everyone's salaries on time. Once you come in, once you log in, we will now be able to know how long it took you to be able to get treatment from the nurses, how long it took you for the doctor to see you, what did the doctor prescribe to you, if there were x-rays, na mambo hii ya kuambiwa ya kwa sijui hatuna hapa paka uende private, hata hiyo itaisha. Because they'll have to put it in the system. And if at all it reads that truly we don't have that particular facility, then automatically it will be flagged out. But if a doctor or anyone decides to go, even medicine, we will now be, because once the doctor prescribes medicine, the system will now show them that this is the level of medicine that we have. So first of all, the store manager will know when is the next order for KEMSA. All these things, we are going to digitize all our facilities so that we can have efficiency in place. And I have no problem partnering with TUM in their health facility, because we've agreed to partner with Yelabaridi in their health facility as well. I would rather have a way that we assist you guys, whether it is through giving you some subsidized medicine, or we give you one of our health practitioners who's going to be based here, dependent on whether we have the workforce. I don't want to get into the nitty-gritties because it is an idea that you have given me, and it is an idea that I'm willing to absorb and willing to be able to implement amongst the right platform. So with that, we will request the CC for Health to sit down with Professor Leila and wakubaliane on those matters. I heard about the other issue that is there, and that is the ile sehemu ya vijana. If my memory serves me right, tulisaidiana last time nilipokuja. If my memory serves me right. But hapajaribika jambo. I will recommend that we get some BQs of what needs to be done, and whether it is going to be the county government or it is going to be through other ways. Prof, with your blessings and the blessings of TUM, as long as ni center ambao kwamba itatumika kwa vijana, so that today wanaweza kufanya, kesho hata kama kijana amegraduate, kuna wenzake wanaweza kutumia ile facility. Sio, let it not be a family business, but something that is going to be rotating. And I'm more than willing to be able to do the same. I think I've answered quite a number of the issues. So I'll allow you to take it up again, but I believe I've answered quite a number of the issues that were raised. Asanteni sana.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I think that is not enough for the first session. Let's do better. We can do better. Thank you. Bwana Governor, unajua kiti bado iko, nashindwa kwa nini haukukalia, lakini tunaelewa.